Hi, it's Tuesday, January 31st. I want to do a video today. Today I'm like super happy because yesterday I was posting about the Eagles and professional male sports and saying that how I noticed that it's not neutral, that there's a cost to society. And I got a lot of just people being very defensive. And of course, some people know what I'm talking about. They're like, yes, of course. And other people, you know, they're only defensive. And it's like they didn't hear a word I said. And people are trying to equate the situation in America where basketball runs into, you know, March Madness runs into baseball playoffs run into football, where men, mostly men, but sometimes women, which God, I don't know why, can spend 365 days a year watching sports, often drinking beer and like just sitting there watching sports. And what are they doing when they're not, when they're spending that much time watching sports? What are they not doing? They're obviously not paying attention to jobs or families or women. And so people are arguing, and even my husband was arguing, and he is not like a huge sports fan, but he's arguing, oh, it's, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, Linda. I said, are you not listening to me? And my one son, who hates sports, he's even arguing with me that I'm being so reactionary. And the thing is, why are some men so defensive? And I had this one guy talking about, and again, and these people, the people that are coming on my page and talking to me about my video on the Eagles, they're not my friends. They don't like any of my dance videos. They don't support my career. So they only show up to antagonize me and to challenge me. And, you know, I'm wise to that. It's like, so they're showing up, and this one guy was saying he was equating in America, where male sports is 365 days a year, to in Wales, you know, there's just soccer, and women's soccer is big in Wales. All right, well, Wales is what, the size of Pennsylvania? His mind would be blown if he went into frickin' North Philly or frickin' Kensington. It's not Wales. There's problems in Philadelphia, and all the money and time spent on idolizing the male sports teams is negative for Philadelphia. And people are saying, well, you're saying everybody's stupid. The news was full of like guys, mostly guys, climbing greased poles, you know, screaming and celebrating in the streets. Do they look smart? And then, again, mostly men flying up from Florida to go to a game. Like, and not retired men, like working age men. So that tells me you're spending all this time on flights and you don't have a job. You're not taking care of anybody. There's no dependence. Like, you have no responsibilities. And your responsibility is to sports. And then that tickets, like a package deal for people to fly out to Arizona from Philly, and I guess the tickets and the hotel, $9,000 a night. That's what people are paying. And again, so they're putting all that money to watching sports, which again, it's men chasing a ball around and getting brain damage. And so $10,000 a person to go watch that game, when what could that money be help in Philadelphia schools? So it's not neutral. It's a negative. And everybody talking on TV looked really stupid. I don't know what to say to put so much focus on this. So I'm tired of people being defensive when I'm talking and they're not getting the points. And somebody's talking about, you know, comparing the Olympics to male sports, that people cheer for women in the Olympics. The Olympics happens once every 2 years for 16 days. And it's male Olympics and female Olympics. So it's like a week, a year that sometimes people look at women sometimes. Versus 365 days a year that mostly men, you know, idolize men. So it's not the same, and people have their brains turned off and they're just arguing. They're just defensive with no points. And so then also I was on TikTok and did another video where a response to a woman saying that the violence problem in America is male violence. Yes. Who are the mass shooters? Men. Who runs the NRA? Men. Who is like, what percentage of violent crime and homicides is committed by men? And men got, and her post was so sensible, so she said, really, we got to stop calling it a violence problem in America, and it's a male violence problem. And everybody knows, if women were running around with guns and running into schools and killing everybody, the woman would be locked up so quick and guns would be taken away. They would go to everybody's house and guns would be removed from any woman's hands and women would be called crazy. But because men are doing it, it's a violence problem. It's a male violence problem. Men are the ones that are nuts. And men need to change their ways and be healed by society. And then I couldn't believe it. Her post was so sensible. This was TikTok. Men were on there, on her comments, saying that she was the problem. That her rhetoric was the problem. And then you hear, and then I did a post and they're all arguing, you know, not all men, but these ones, and they're standing out. They're like, you are the problem. It's like, no, you have to stop being defensive and use your brain. Men commit the violent crimes. Most of the mass shooters are men, like I don't know what percentage, really high, 99%. I'm not saying all men, but violent crime is done by men. And they can't use they're so busy being defensive that their brains are turned off. They are not logical and they are emotional. And hello, this is what men say about women. No, I'm using my logic. And then this guy this morning was saying that it's just like you saying, you know, all Muslims, you know, are violent. All Muslims commit crimes. It's like saying that about men. I said, no, it isn't. Because nobody ever said all crimes are committed by Muslims, because it was never true. It was never true. All terrorists aren't Muslims. All violent crime is not committed by Muslims. So it's not true. And that doesn't equate. Because it is true that violent crime is committed, the large majority, by men. And they can't use their brain. Like, use your brain. Before you start speaking, use your brain. Use your brain. I never said all men. Women aren't saying all men, but they're saying men are violent. So anyway, that was yesterday. And I was in a bad mood, and my husband was arguing with me, and my son was arguing with me. Again, they're just being like reflexively defensive. Like, listen. And then a man this morning on TikTok, Jake Theo, something like that, was a doll. And he said, he defended me and women. And he said, they're just telling the truth. And he said, thank you. He says that he learns from women. And he listens to women speak. He listens to women's stories. And he learns from women. And I said, oh my goodness, I love you. And he said, oh, you know, no props, no praise. I'm like, yes, props and praise to a smart man that knows what's going on. Because women know it right away. When somebody's telling the truth, when somebody's not gaslighting, when somebody's not deflecting just from this primal male urge to say you were right. You ain't always right. And women have been like under the thumb of patriarchy for, you know, 3,000 years. And we've had a lot of time to see the ways it went wrong. Now it's time. Listen to the women.